If you want to be successful as a business owner, you have got to push yourself outside the realm of what is comfortable.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
This is going to be an interesting episode. I'm sitting here with a back brace, tighter than a girdle. Not that I know what a girdle feels like, but I'm assuming what it might feel like to wear a girdle. That's what it feels like I'm wearing right now, so I can't take a deep breath. And so let's see how it goes. Welcome to the program, everybody. Dustin Harris. I guess I should probably tell you why. I hurt myself skiing last week. Went off a jump. Yes, I know. I'm 45 years old, and I still think I'm 12. Went off a jump. I landed it. Didn't fall. But I landed really hard. I think it compressed my vertebrae a little bit and reminded me that I am an old guy. So trying to baby it along, and it's better to not be able to take a deep breath and do a podcast than it is to try to deal with the pain of not having the back brace on there. So there you go. Folks, so I want to pause here and remind you that we are sponsored by 3 great companies that you cannot go wrong with. First of all, Working RE Magazine. Working RE is so great to work with. I had an advertisement with them here a couple days ago, and their main advertising guy was out of town, and he just bent over backward to make it work for me. We had a time limit, and that's the kind of people you're dealing with over there, folks. Great people who understand appraisers and are there to serve. Isaac and David and the others, check them out. Go to workingre.com. Again, it's workingre.com. Data Master, another great group of people, hometown people, if you will. Live down in Utah, work down in Utah. Their corporate offices are out of Layton, Utah, and they just love appraisers, love helping appraisers to do more with less. Check them out. Go to datamasterusa.com. Again, it's datamasterusa.com. And we are sponsored by Alamode, another great company serving appraisers and have been for over 3 decades. You can find out more at alamode.com or 800-ALAMODE. All right, folks, I'm going to title this one, If You See Something, Say Something, Appraisers. And of course, you should, I think, recognize that phrase. It is a phrase that is used quite often post 9/11 world. But today we're not going to be talking anything about terrorist activity, dangerous activity. We're not even going to be talking, I assume that maybe you read this title and thought, okay, this has to do with being in an inspection and maybe seeing a child that is neglected. Should we report that? Should we not? And certainly that is a great topic for another episode. But this is a little training tool that I use with my coaching clients. And specifically when we are talking about management. And when I mean management, I'm not talking about technology management. I'm not talking about business management. I'm talking about human resource management. So in the realm of human resources, I find that many of my clients really struggle. And let's be honest, I think we all struggle with management because none of us like to be bossy, right? None of us want to come across as mean. None of us want to come across as not understanding. We like to be liked. I think human nature is we like to be liked, and we want to feel like individuals can get along with us, that we're the nice guy. In fact, I sometimes call it the nice guy syndrome, where maybe something needs to happen and yet we kind of avoid it. Well, okay, we don't kind of avoid it. We avoid it. And we avoid it because we don't like conflict. We don't want to deal with it. We think, well, maybe it'll go away on its own, or maybe I'll say something next time when it gets a little worse, or maybe this is a one-off situation and who knows, maybe it's not a long-term problem. Maybe I don't need to worry about it. So let's ignore it. Let's brush it under the rug. Let's not. Now, what am I talking about? Specifically, I'm talking about when things don't go according to plan. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. That doesn't necessarily mean that things are going completely off the rails. This can mean a variety of different things. Frankly, it can mean that somebody is doing something that they shouldn't be, but they might not even know better. A lot of this comes back to us as business owners, specifically as employers. And did we do our job in training? Did we share the information that we should have shared? And sometimes we see things going on and we think to ourselves, well, that's wrong. That shouldn't be happening. And then we think to ourselves, well, how would that person even know? I've never told them, right? And then we feel awkward because it's like, well, do I want to tell them now? Because boy, it sure seems weird. And if I say something now, then, it just kind of puts them on the spot. And here's what I see happen often, appraisers. as I'm coaching individuals and start to talk to them about some of the issues they're dealing with, they might share with me, this is completely random, completely hypothetical. I'm just making this out of whole cloth, so much so that I don't even know what I'm about to say, okay? But let's say that you have a situation where, I'm dealing with a coach call, and, somebody on the other line might say, well, Dustin, I'm really struggling because, I've got this one individual who, he gets his work done, but he doesn't do anything extra. He gets his work done, but we've got all of these back burner things that he could be doing. I'm paying him by the hour, and yet he's not getting them done. And Dustin, what do I do in that situation? Like, do I just talk to him? Do I tell him? What do I do? And when you start to unravel the problem, what comes to a head often is, well, did you share this with him when you hired him? Do you train on this constantly? Is this a procedure? Right? Can you point to your manual and somewhere it says when you're done with XYZ, please do ABC? And 9 times out of 10, the answer to that is no. In other words, there was just kind of an expectation. And I think a lot of the problems that we deal with as employers stem from the fact that we have certain expectations of ourselves that we just think others should get. We just think others should just figure it out. And guess what? They don't always. I have the same problem with my 2 teenage sons that are home. So my wife and I had 4 kids. 2 of them are gone, not gone, but gone. They've flown the coop, if you will. And I've got 2 teenage boys left. And it just baffles me to death when I walk through the house and doors are unlocked. I'm talking exterior doors, and lights are on and exhaust fans are going and blah, blah. In fact, I just recently in my house went through, and every exhaust fan in my home, which I found out there are a lot of them, every exhaust fan in my home now has a timer on the switch. So you can't just turn it on and leave it on. You turn it on for 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 45 minutes, but eventually, just like they do in hotel rooms, or they used to, they click, 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 and then they turn off, right? I'm just tired of telling the kids to turn off the fan. Oh, I didn't even notice it was on, right? I don't think our employees are any different. They don't even notice a lot of things. And we think, how could you not notice that? How could you walk past that door and not hear that buzzing of the fan and think, oh my gosh, that's been going for 3 hours and I've got to pay the electrical bill. How could you not think of that? Well, guess what? They don't. And our employees are no different. You'll find that employees have a very different mindset than employers. There's a reason you're an employer, and there's a reason that certain people are employees. And there's nothing wrong with either thing, right? But some people are more fit to work for others, and some people are more fit to work for themselves. And the mindset is just different. And they don't always make the same assumptions that you think they should. And for you to say, well, Dustin, come on, really? Like, you don't think my employees would think that I'm paying them by the hour, and if they're done with their work, that they should say, well, what can I do next? Like, that just seems weird to me. I agree. But that's because you are who you are and I'm who I am. We're self-motivated individuals. And some people are just not. Now, a lot of our employees are, and that's what makes them great employees, but some are not. And so the first thing you got to ask yourself is there some blame to be had here with me? Is some blame on my shoulder, right? When I see something that's not being done or something that shouldn't be done that is being done, what have I done about it? Or what do I do about it? And that brings me to the topic at hand and this phrase that I often use with my coaching clients, and it's called, if you see something, say something. This is a habit that I have got. I really had to force myself into this. This did not happen easily, right? This was a very challenging and difficult thing for me, and it has served me well. But it has required that I get outside my comfort zone. Now, I've told you on this podcast before, and I know a lot of you don't believe. In fact, I've had people challenge me and say, come on, Dustin, that's not true. It absolutely is true. I am more introvert than I am extrovert. I am. I don't care how many tests I've taken, and I've taken a lot of them. They come close. Okay, sometimes it's 51 to 49%. But in all cases, I've been more introverted than extroverted. Okay, and that's just how I am. It is not comfortable for me to talk on this microphone. I'll just be honest with you. It's not comfortable for me to be on stage. I enjoy it. I love it. It's one of my favorite things in the whole world, but it's still not comfortable. And maybe that's why I love it, right? It is not comfortable for me as a boss to call people on the carpet. And when I say call people on the carpet, I'm not talking about mean. I'm just talking about correction. That's not an easy thing for me to do. It's easier for me with my kids, but it's still not a comfortable thing, right? I want to be liked by my kids, right? I'm certainly not in their same realm as far as their peer group, and these parents that are buddies with their kids. I don't even get that. That's out of the realm of my thought process. But I still don't want to be the mean parent, right? I don't want to be the bad cop. I want to have a good relationship with my kids, and I want to congratulate them and give them kudos and say, thanks for turning off that exhaust fan. That is awesome, right? But it doesn't happen very often. It's more about nagging. It's more about reminding. It's more about how many times have I told you to lock the front door before you go to bed, right? Came home from a date the other night. My wife and I went to a concert and we were home quite late. And about midnight, we rolled in and our front door in the middle of winter was, I'm not going to say wide open, but it was cracked about 2 inches. And the cold air had been coming in for hours. Not to mention the safety issue of somebody on the street walking up and, seeing the door cracked and walking right in and there being a problem. My kids don't seem to think about these things and it drives me nuts, right? And I would rather not have to make corrective measures, and here's the key here, but if you want to be successful as a business owner, you have got to push yourself outside the realm of what is comfortable, okay? You have got to check in to this idea that you are the boss. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're mean. That doesn't mean that you have to be negative. That doesn't even mean you need to nag. That simply means that when you see something, say something. I want to go into more detail of what that actually looks like when we get back from the break, but want to pause here and remind you that we are sponsored by 3 great companies, one of them being Working RE Magazine. Great group of people over there who care very much about what is going on in the appraisal profession. Now, why should an appraiser sign up for their free newsletter? Well, number one, it's free. Number two, it is chock full of great information. If you want to know what's going on in the appraisal world, you need to be on workingre.com. Check them out by typing this into your URL search page, workingre.com. Wait about 5 to 10 seconds when you get to the homepage, because a little box will pop up and say, do you want to belong to our email list? And the answer is yes. Yes, I do. Put your email in there and you will get updates constantly on what's going on in the appraisal profession. It's workingre.com. Again, it's workingre.com. We are sponsored by Alamode. Alamode, of course, is the software I've been using for over 2 decades, and for over 3 decades, yes, 3 decades, over 30 years, people have been turning to Alamode as the leader in the form filling software for appraisers. There's a reason they're number one, folks. There's a reason they continue to be number one. Check them out. Go to alamode.com or 800-ALAMODE. Finally, sponsored by DataMaster. To save 30 to 60 minutes per report is phenomenal, folks. It is so amazing to hit one button and part of your report be filled out immediately. The part that takes 30 to 60 minutes of mundane typing words into a screen. That's what DataMaster will do for you. And DataMaster 6 blows that out of the water. Folks, check them out. Go to datamasterusa.com. Find out if they are in your area. And if they are, you should not hesitate. datamasterusa.com, datamasterusa.com. And welcome back to the program, everybody. Talking about management, and I'm talking about getting outside my comfort zone. And I'm dead serious here, folks. Dead serious. This took me a long time to figure out. I'm still figuring it out. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know that I will ever completely figure it out in this sense. When I see something that is wrong or something that can be changed, even today, and I've been doing the human resource thing or the law of delegation for over 12 years now, I still have a hard time saying something because I want to be liked. I want to be a good boss. I want to be the good cop. I have a desire to, as a human being, to not be the jerk that always is pointing out faults, right? It's the same problem I have as a parent. I don't want to nag my kids, but I do want them to become better. I don't want to nag my employees or my contractors, but I want them to become better. And the only way they can become better is to know what you expect. And one of the best things you can do is to not hesitate, right? Now, I told you this wasn't about terrorist activity, and it's not. But I want you to imagine just for a moment, heaven forbid you were on a subway and you saw a suspicious package, right? That nobody seemed to be paying attention to. It was shoved under a seat and people have come and gone and it still sits there. How long would you wait to say something? I hope not long. I hope you don't think, well, I'll call him this evening and have him check and make sure it's not still there. No, you're going to say something immediately, right? Now, take that analogy and apply it to your appraisal office. Again, we're not talking about something as urgent as a suspicious package on the subway, okay? But we are talking about your business. How long are you going to wait to say something? And usually it's best just to eat the frog, okay? As Brian Tracy would say, it's just best to just do it. Eat that frog, get it done, stop worrying about it, finish it, and move on to something more comfortable. And this is the philosophy of if you see something, say something. When you see something, don't hesitate. Hey, Jane, I just noticed that when you were on the phone with that borrower, you said such and such. Next time, it might be better if you say such and such, right? Correcting right away. Well, Dustin, I'll just put that in my notes, and when it's a more comfortable time, I'll talk about it. Well, first of all, no, you won't. And second of all, they may not even remember. Hey, remember 2 weeks ago when you said such and such? And they're going to look at you like, what are you talking about? If you see something, say something now. Do it now, while it's on your mind, and get out of your comfort zone. Now, you can say it over WhatsApp, you can say it over email, you can say it over, Slack or whatever communication tool you use, or you can say it in person, in a phone call, in a training video. A lot of times I'll jump on Zoom. That's what we use in my office, and I'll just do a quick training video. I'll see something come across a report, and rather than trying to explain it over the phone call or email, I'll just jump on and I'll just hit record and I'll do screen share and I'll say, okay, hey, I'm just reviewing this report at 123 Any Street, and I noticed that this keeps happening. So follow me here. So we're on page 1, halfway down. Do you see how there's 2 boxes checked here? There should only be 1. It's either increasing, decreasing, or stable. You can't have more than 1 checked here. Okay. And I'll just show them on the screen, and then I'll send it to them and say, hey, just a part of training. Now, one of the things that I have noticed that helps, okay, to ease the burden a little bit, rather than feeling like you're being a burden to others, and rather than saying, hey, Jane, you screwed up again, right? I just say it this way. Hey, Jane, as part of your ongoing training, can I share something with you? And then I pause and wait for an affirmative yes. They've just given you permission to correct them. Hey, John, I've noticed something that keeps coming up. Do you mind if I just do a quick training with you? No, go ahead. Great. So, and then I go into the training. In other words, approach it not as a correction, but as a training tool. Now, I will tell you this as we close up today. I have gone too far, and sometimes this tool can backfire, and you need to be sensitive, right? I had an experience here recently, very recently, within the last couple of months, where I had an appraiser assistant who, it was very obvious she was not happy with me. Her body language changed, her tone of voice changed. She was still doing her job, but something was wrong. And I reached out to her and I said, hey, and I won't share her name, but I said, hey, what's going on? I can sense something's up. And she goes, yeah, something's up. Okay, well, talk to me. What's going on? Well, I don't like the fact that you said sloppy, that I was being sloppy. I don't like the fact that you sent me 5 corrections in one day of things I could quote unquote do better. And she was honest with me, and I appreciate that. I do. I love the open communication. But I realized at that time that I had pushed it too far. And first of all, to my defense, I did not even know who had done the mistake or made the mistakes. I sent out, I think, 5 different emails on one report that I was going through. And it, again, when you see something, say something. And I saw something and I sent out an email. And then I saw something else and I sent out another email. And then I saw something else and I sent out another email. And I sent the email to everybody. I didn't target one person, but I said, hey, in the future, this needs to happen. Hey, I noticed this, Hey guys, we're getting a little sloppy here. You need to be a little bit more careful, right? And that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. It just so happened that every single one of those corrections were inadvertently directed at one person because she was the one in charge of that. Now, to her credit, she was in the middle of training someone else. And yes, she was ultimately responsible, but I don't think those mistakes would have been made if she had just been working on her own. And so, it was nice to be able to have this discussion with her and talk to her. But the bottom line is, if you see something, don't hesitate, say something, right? But in the end, okay, be careful about how you do it and make sure that you don't push so hard that there's going to be problems down the road. Make sure that you're very, very careful about and sensitive, if you will, to other individuals and what it is that they need. Okay? All right. That's it, folks. If you want to know more about how to manage a great team of appraiser assistants, I highly recommend that you belong to my All-Star team, because as a member of the All-Star team, and you can see right now what's available, go to theappraisercoach.com/products and just scroll down. All of that stuff is available to the All-Star team, either free, about 99% of it's free, or at a huge discount. And some of those have to do with human resources, management, training, and helping appraisers to have a more efficient office. Check it out, theappraisercoach.com/products.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.